Good morning, everyone. I hope your Saturday is off to a great start. We've had some snow through the overnight hours, and that has left us with some slick travel conditions. We're still getting a little bit of some light snow out there as well. So in this live stream, what I want to do is walk you through what travel conditions are looking like right now, how things could evolve through the course of the day, and then, of course, give you a forecast update as we go through this first Alert 6 weather day. When we see the snow come to a close, how much more we could see, the latest on how cold it's going to be, and when we get any kind of improvement in our temperatures as we head through the weekend and into next week, where we stand with that. So let's go ahead and start with the travel conditions. And after we had some of that snow overnight, this is what it looks like with the road conditions. And you can see that we do have patchy coverage in the blue shading there. That is on a lot of our main roads, and pink showing complete coverage. Now, we have heard a number of crashes through the course of the morning with that thin coating of snow that is out there. We had an inch or less in the metro of dry powder, but that's just been enough that it's caused issues. And particularly as we head through the day today, anytime that starts to get packed down, that's going to be really tough to clear, and it'll be slick, and that's where we could run into any issues. So as that gets driven over, that's where we could look at those issues compounding. We zoom out a little bit further, you can see that we have more of that blue and pink showing up as you continue to the south with more of that patchy to complete coverage of snow on the roads. Further north, there's been less snow. They're looking at more normal travel conditions in that direction. But as you go from about Highway 30 and I-80 to the south, you're looking at conditions going downhill. Here's a look at what it looks like through the area with some of that snow on the roads. And top left there, that's near 90th and Dodge. You can see the snow kind of caked onto the road at this point. Top right is in Midtown into Blackstone, and you are looking at the snow definitely present there as well. 144th and West Dodge, there in the bottom right. That's the view of what you've got there. And you can see it's not a lot of snow, but it is just enough that it gets slick if you're driving on it. And then this is in Sarpy County as you are at Highway 370 and 72nd. You are looking at some of the snow on the roads there as well. Again, not much in the way of snow, but enough that we've had a few issues out there. A few crashes that have been in place through the course of the morning. Have had some on I-80 around the 680 interchange, several around 60th. You get into some of the neighborhoods, you've also been looking at some issues. So this is what you can expect if you're out and about for some of those problems. That's eastbound I-80 right around the entry to the 680 interchange where you see that slowdown. That's a location that's had a crash. You've got another one over here, westbound I-80 around 60th with some issues. And keep in mind, these are just the main roads. You've also got some of the neighborhoods where you're going to be looking at some slick conditions. It's been a little bit since we've had snow on the roads, so use some caution. You want to try to avoid any kind of problems with how cold it is out there. You don't want to have to be exchanging information, trying to deal with these conditions in addition to the cold. And it is plenty cold out there. This is what it looks like right around 90th and Dodge as you're looking from our Children's Nebraska camera. And you can see that snow again on the roads. Drivers generally using a ginger approach to their driving with the slick conditions. It's not a bad idea. Here's where we're at. 1 below is our temperature. We still have a little bit of that light snow falling. It's going to be the case off and on through the course of the morning. It's going to be hard to warm up with that snow on the ground now. Not a lot of wind. You can see it's a 5 to 10 mile per hour breeze. But when you have temperatures that are below zero, it doesn't take a lot to really knock that wind chill down, and it feels like it's 13 below. So bundle up if you're heading out as well. There's a look at the radar too, and you can see that we are seeing not much in the way of snow, but it is a little bit more so present as you get further to the south, and that's kind of going to be the running theme for the rest of the day, where you just have some on and off flakes that are that kind of dry, powdery nature in the metro, a little bit more further south. And this is all part of that big system making its way through the country. You've probably heard about some of the impacts throughout the country. and ongoing snow as you make your way through Kansas, Missouri, down into Arkansas and Tennessee. You're getting a mixed bag of precip with some sleet, freezing rain as you head through parts of Arkansas, Mississippi, into the Dallas area. And this is just going to continue to cause issues in those areas. If you have a flight through the course of the next couple of days, make sure you check flyoma.com because it is very possible that you could be looking at some delays or cancellations depending on where you're going. This morning, we've already seen a flight to Dallas that was canceled and another to Nashville that was canceled. So keeping on top of that's going to help you with your travel over the next couple of days. Very widespread impacts from this system. You're looking at extreme cold advisories, warnings, watches for much of the country east of the Rockies. And then you've also got winter storm alerts that are in place all the way from New Mexico to the north and east, across the southern and central plains, and into the Ohio Valley, even into New England. You've got impacts. So a lot of people seeing snow, seeing winter mix. There's a lot of stuff happening around the country, and you're going to be hearing about those impacts for quite some time, including some places that aren't accustomed to getting some of the precip that they are going to get over the coming days. So a lot of things happening through the country. Let's go back to where we're at and talk about how the rest of today goes with that snow, how long it lasts, how much we see. So you can see here over the next couple of hours, we're still going to have some of that very light snow in the metro. I really don't expect it to add up to all that much more, maybe a couple tenths of an inch. Further to the south, you get closer to the Nebraska or to the Kansas and Missouri borders. You're going to have more consistent, heavier snow that's ongoing. Not heavy snow, but it's going to be more ongoing than what we have here in the metro. You'll notice by the time we get to the middle of the day, we kind of tail things off for the metro, but still have that snow ongoing for areas like Auburn, Falls City, Rockport, and it doesn't really shut off until we get to the evening hours. So with that in mind, when we talk additional snowfall amounts, less than an inch through the afternoon in the metro, and really that's closer to just a coating in addition to what's already out there. There's not going to be a lot more snow. It's just more snow that could cake onto the roads when it's driven over. So that's the threat that you want to watch out for in the metro. 1 to 3 inches in addition to what's out there as you get closer to Rockport, Falls City, Auburn, and to the Kansas-Missouri borders. That reinforces the cold, which is the other aspect of what we have for our first Alert 6 weather day, and it will be a struggle to warm. We'll only manage to get to about 5 for a high today. Thankfully, the winds stay light, so it will be a wind chill that stays pretty close to that temperature. Here's what that looks like. And you notice that we're kind of wobbling near zero for most of the afternoon into the evening hours. So not feeling too different than the air temperature for those PM hours. Fast forwarding to tomorrow. We actually get a little bit of some clearing that takes place late tonight. With that being the case, we'll actually start off a little below zero, have some sunshine in the morning, and then as the day goes on, we will warm decently. We'll end up about 15 for our high. I know that's still not very warm, but it's better than where we've been the last couple of days. And then one thing you will have to watch, cloud cover increases through the day, but more so as we look at the wind chills tomorrow, notice that it really drops off in the evening and into the nighttime. The reason for that is the wind will pick up, and as that happens, you can see that it will eventually help out our temperatures on Monday, get us into the 20s, but don't sleep on the wind chills Sunday night into Monday morning, because with those winds that could gust up around 25 to 30 miles per hour Monday, that's as the temperature drops off. So here's what that looks like. First, a northwest breeze in the evening Sunday, and that'll turn around to the southwest, and we'll pick that up as the morning goes on into the afternoon, get some of those gusts that are around 25 to 30 miles per hour. With that being the case, watch what our wind chills do. So we get into the afternoon, we start to get a little more of that wind out of the northwest that drops the wind chills down to the single digits, and we quickly drop further and further through the evening. By the time we get to Monday morning, we're talking wind chills that are 10 to 20 below. The air temperature will be around 5 below, but the wind chill will be 10 to 20 below. So Be ready for quite the chilly start to our Monday. Don't sleep on that with what we have going on today. As you're heading back to the office, the kids are heading back to school on Monday. It's going to be brutally cold despite that sunshine that'll be in place. We will improve some as the day goes on. By the afternoon, we'll get that wind chill back close to 0. Remember, the high is 24, so that's an indication of what that wind will do for the effect it has on us as our Monday goes on. Long term, though, that is going to help us out. Let me show you the 10-day forecast. So today, still some of that light snow that'll be around into the early afternoon in the metro, and a little bit longer if you're closer to the Missouri and Kansas borders. Not much motion with the temps, only about 5 for the high, 2 below tonight, and then we'll have teens tomorrow, and then that brutally cold start that I mentioned for Monday. 5 below for the temp, wind chills that'll be 10 to 20 below. But we get beyond that. Once we get beyond Monday, Monday's really not going to feel all that warm despite the sunshine. But 20s for highs Tuesday and Wednesday, a little closer to average. And as we go through next week, we'll kind of have some half-step backward effect going Thursday and Friday as we look at low 20s. But by the end of the 10-day, it is looking a little more likely that we try to pull in some 30s into our area. And you also notice not much for precip chances. A couple systems that may try to bring a few flakes into the area, but not looking all that impactful at this point. Let me show you the temperature pattern here. And I'll have to manually push this along. I see what I forgot to put the stop points in. But as we head through today, you can see the pinks and the purples are that bitter, bitter cold that are in place. And that stays with us today into tomorrow. Not much improvement there. We get into Monday. You can see we start to push that air mass out. It's still cold because of the southwest wind that's in place, but we're heading in the right direction. And what you're going to notice here, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, is that bitter cold's not far away. It's just kind of sitting off to our east. So by the time we get to Wednesday, we kind of tap back into that a little bit, and that's why you see that slight regression in our temperatures for Thursday and Friday. But watch what happens as we get into the weekend. That looks like it starts to drift east, and we have a little bit more success at bringing in some warmer air for next weekend. That's where those 30s are coming into play. So again, show you the 10-day forecast here. Pull that up. So these are those temperatures. You can see at the end of the 10-day, that's some of that warming that tries to make its way in. Now, it's close enough that we'll have to watch and see if that tries to rebound back into our area, because it was just a couple of days ago we were looking like we could be heading for another deep freeze, but now trends pointing that toward the east. And that's kind of the running theme as we're looking at the last days of January and the beginning of February, is how much of this push and pull do we get involved in with the cold temperatures to the east and the warm temps to the west? Right now, trending warmer for us. It's not out of the question that we end up trending back toward the cold. And with us kind of being near that battle zone, you've probably heard Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord talking about how our highest snow chances were looking like they would be February. This is the sort of setup that lends itself to that, with us kind of being in that battle zone. We'll see how things end up evolving, but being pretty close to where those two come together, that could mean that as we go deeper through February that we try to bring more of those snow chances in. So we'll see how that evolves, but overall, warming trend does look more likely through the course of the 10-day. So once more, let me give you one more quick summary of where things go for the rest of the day. Travel is a little touch and go out there right now. We are looking at partial to complete coverage of snow on the roads. There's not much snow, but there's that thin coating that is on a lot of our roads. We're hearing a lot of crashes that are taking place, so be careful if you're going to be traveling. It's still very cold, so if you are out and about, you will be looking at a situation where you don't want to be contending with that, as you maybe have some issues on the roadways. Snow should be staying very light in the metro and wrapping up as we get toward about midday. and then cloud cover for the rest of the day. If you're south of the metro, we see the snow continue a little longer. That's where we add up a couple more inches as you get closer to Falls City and into areas, especially as you head toward Kansas City. You'll see those totals continue to pick up. Tomorrow, a little improvement with the temps. Watch for some bitter cold again Sunday night into Monday morning as we pick up that wind. Wind chills drop off 10 to 20 below. And then we finally start to get those temperatures to improve some as we get into next week with some 20s. Sorry, bumped the mic. We'll get some 20s for our temps for next week and gradually improve how it feels out there as well. You can always get the latest details on our First Alert 6 weather day on our website, firstalert6.com. And while I'm at it, let me show you where we stand with flight information. I did mention flyomaha.com and how this is a system that is impacting a large part of the country. So I could show you here what kind of cancellations, delays we do have at this time. So here is where we stand. Hopefully you can see that. But notice we do get a couple of spots where we are looking at a delay there to New York, Detroit with a delay, but also a few cancellations that are in there as well. Dallas-Fort Worth, cancellation of a flight on American. You've got a Southwest flight to Nashville around 1 o'clock that's been canceled. And you keep scrolling down, you're going to find a few more of these, to the southeast especially, as they manage those conditions. So this is going to be a very handy website for you, flyoma.com. Keep checking in on that if you are going to be trying to travel to especially the southeast. But with how big this storm system is, could be a domino effect as well as cancellations kind of pile up. So a good idea to keep checking that through the course of the weekend if you have travel plans, or maybe people who are trying to travel to here that are going to be meeting up with you. All right, I think we'll wrap this up. I appreciate everyone joining in. We've had some pretty good, healthy numbers in this live stream. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay warm, stay safe if you're going to be traveling, and we'll continue to keep you posted as the rest of this First Alert 6 weather day goes on.